and marketing so that it really lays a foundation. Because I found a lot of people, as I was working with clients, they tend to think they know about branding, and I'm not saying they don't, but a lot of people don't know, or they're afraid to start, or they don't know what first steps to take. So we really wanted to create something that was very foundational. So Christine, did that other person join yet? Oh yes, I see Maureen. Okay, great. Hi Maureen, thanks for
Hi. Sorry about that.
That's okay. There's been a bit of a time mix up.
Yeah, I heard.
Okay, good.
It's
So we're going
okay.
to proceed anyway, and then we're going to run it again at 4. So thank you for coming.
Sounds good.
You're on with Donna, and I'm going to
Hi,
turn it over.
Maureen. Christine
Oh,
here.
hi.
And we're going to just leave it on audio only so that we can record it, because some people may not want to have their face be on. I'm going to just put my face on so you can all see me.
So if
And
everybody could mute and turn off your video, that would be great. And then we'll let you come on at certain times when we have the question and answer sessions.
And there's also a chat box on the bottom. You'll see a chat along the bottom bar. There's a chat option. So if you have any questions while we are going through, feel free to write them on there. And we're also going to take questions at the end. So we'll make note of everything, and what we don't get covered today, we can always send you an email response, or we can, if you think of something later, you're welcome to send either of us an email as well with any questions that you have.
Awesome.
So now, Christine, why don't you go ahead and give us a snapshot, a little background on who you are?
Okay, I sure will. I'd love to do that. I have been really looking forward to this because I won't jump the gun here, but I get so many questions on this very topic that we're going to be relating to you or sharing with you today. But I'm Christine Till, also known as the Marketing Mentress, and I'm called that for a reason. You see, I'm on a mission to help businesses all over the world to become empowered to build their strategic online presence and grow their client base using social media with a focus on LinkedIn. I'm the founder of Relationship Marketing through the gift of a podcast. I'm also the author of Fired at 50, Stop Looking for Work and Discover What You Were Meant to Do. And I've co-authored 3 other books. The latest one is called Mentoring Women Leaders. Part of what I do is create step-by-step programs that make it easy for people to get the most of LinkedIn. I believe that when we tap into our true authentic selves and build the relationships we need and want for business, we will build strong, lasting alliances both on and offline. I'm here today to shake up the way you think about using social media and LinkedIn for your business and to inspire you to unleash its true power. We're super excited to have you here with us today. So if you've got a hat, hang on to it and be ready to be inspired to new heights. Christine, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Again, I'm one of the 2 C's in 2C Success. I'm Christine Unterthiner, and I started my journey a long time ago in publishing. We were an oil and gas publication in Calgary, and I believe one of the reasons we were successful is because we were very niche, and I'll get into why that's important later. And the experience I got working in the magazine industry was really an awesome foundation, and it was invaluable. I mean, I learned about traditional printing, the principles of good design and layout, how to interview, write a good story. And then later I moved to Vancouver, and I was privileged to be part of the Douglas College design team. And what was so great about that experience is that while I was there, they rebranded for the first time. And it was just the teamwork and the extent to which that brand really reached. I mean, it's a big organization, not as big as some, but it really had a great impact on me. And then I just really got that I love creating teams. I love producing things and making other people look good. So oh, and whoever just came on, welcome to the call. And if you could just mute yourself, the audio thing is on the bottom of the bar on the left-hand side. So about just over 15 years ago, I started Pilot, and starting out just intending it to be a design firm, but really quickly got that clients were always asking, well, I want a brand. What's a brand? And so that's how it came about. So that's a nutshell of who we are, and you'll get to know more about us as the series continues. So first, before we jump in, we'd like to hear from a few of you. One more slide, Christine. What was it that had you register? What are some things that are important to you, and what do you want to get out of taking part in today's session or in the sessions going forward? So who would like to come off mute and share? And just jump in. We don't have a way to see any hands go up.
Okay, I'm Donna. I registered for the webinar. I think I was directed through Twitter to Eventbrite. Some things that are important to me are honesty, some sense of service. There's a big long list, so I'll cut that one short. I'm here because this was referred to me by people I'd chosen as people I wanted to listen to, as something to listen to. So that's how I got here. And what I'd like to get out of it, I'm open to what I get out of it, actually. I don't think I should come in here with a complete agenda. I might be surprised. So I'm going to leave that open, but I'm quite sure that I'll walk away with a little something more than I had before I started.
Great. Thanks, Donna. And thank you so much. Anyone else want to share?
Yeah, so I'm Maureen, and I know Christine from having worked with her before, and it's been quite a delight. So I was really excited about her offering this in a more formal way. So that's really great. The specific thing that I sort of would like to see is what I would call a helicopter view of social media. And I find that I'm Facebooking and I'm Twittering and I'm doing all these things, but I don't have the bigger view. And so because of that, I sort of dive in and I dive out, and I although I have a sort of general strategy about when I should do it, I don't know, I just feel like I don't have a hold on it. I feel like it's controlling me. That's sort of what I'm interested in.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. And we will get into that. We may touch on that today, but it is a 4-part series. So today's very foundational. And thank you for sharing that. We'll make sure that gets covered, Maureen. Anyone else? I see there's a Karen. Karen, did you want to share why you're here, what you want to get out of being here? If not, that's okay. There's no pressure. And if we can't
Oh,
hear
yes,
you,
there's lots of pressure. No problem.
Okay, so we're going to move forward, and thank you all for sharing. And here's how today's going to go. So we're going to start by having a look at what branding is, and some of you may already know, some of you may think you know but aren't sure. Whatever you know or don't know is perfect. And then after defining branding, we're going to look at the basic building blocks of a brand, and then I'll turn it over to Christine Till, and she's going to share her story, and you'll see how her brand developed accidentally and how that, even though that happened, she still covered some of the key building blocks while doing so. And then Christine will give you the essential elements of marketing and yeah, and I think it's great whether you're starting a business or if you've been running it for a while. I think you'll get something of value today. And then at the end, we'll take some questions, and we should be wrapped by 4 Pacific. And then we'll be starting again. Actually, we have to be wrapped by 4 Pacific because of the time thing. Okay, so let's jump right in. I'd like to hear from a few of you. What do you think a brand is? And I think we might just work with a couple people.
I already know the answer. It's Maureen here.
Okay, what do you think it is?
Am I allowed to say?
Yeah.
It's what people say in the room when you're not there.
Oh, that's great.
I love it.
That's really great, Maureen. Thank you. Anyone else want to have a go?
I'm okay with what Maureen said. I was going to say your customers' sort of measure of what it is you're serving them or producing for them. Yeah, it's good, but she got it.
Yeah, that's really good. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Donna. And that's a great start. So, and though that is really part of it, that's a really big part of it. So we're going to start for those who don't, well, we're just going to get started. So what is a brand? A brand it's simple. It's the essence of who you are, whether you're one person or a big organization. So if I said it a different way, it's really your personality and value system. And it's the value system that makes everything tick. It's what you stand for. And it's really what helps build your foundation and your tribe. And what branding is, it's the process of truing everything up to match that. So when people look at you, when you are out of the room, that what you say out there, how you visually represent yourself, even down to what your staff are wearing, it all matches what you stand for. Everything lines up inside and out. So let's start with core values. Well, your core values are the foundation of your brand. And the key here is when you go through the process and identify them, it's important to remember that your personal core values may not be your organization's core values. And that can sometimes be tough to separate. So if you have a look at your brand's core values, you want to ask, why are you choosing them? So for example, you may be passionate about your organization, but if your organization has nothing to do with passion, may not be a good core value to choose for in that instance. So again, it's essential that your core values are true to you, your organization, and not a wish list. So really having an honest assessment. And if you're not sure, there are some exercises that we can do. I don't have those today, but if you guys want to have that down in one of the other webinars coming up, please let me know that as well. And again, the values aren't going to change because something out there changes. That's why they're your core. They're steadfast. I love that word, steadfast. So no matter what happens, everything you deliver, everything you say, and every touch point that the customer comes in contact with comes from there. All right. So the second element is, and that's essential to your brand, is your personality. So when we work with clients during the discovery phase at Pilot, we use a bunch of different interactive exercises to find out more about them. And we're going to get a little taste of that today. So to get the juices flowing, I thought we would look at the personalities of some other brands. So there's going to be, you'll see shortly, my timing might be slightly off. There we go. I put 3 companies on here. So I want you to pick one that just stands out for you. And if you have a notepad, jot down a few words that come to mind when you think about that brand. And what are some of the qualities or values that you would associate with the brand? And are there any personality traits that you would associate with that brand? And who would like to say which one they picked and what they have as some things they wrote down? And if you don't have a notepad, that's okay. Just whatever popped in your head right then.
I'll go with Disney.
Okay.
I just thought of 3 Fs. I thought family, fun, fantasy, and that's as far as I got.
That's
That's
right.
what I thought for them.
Sorry, you
Yeah.
said family, fun, and what was the third one?
Fantasy.
Fantasy, yes. Absolutely. Anyone else? Thank you, Donna. Okay, so thank you. So we're gonna take it a step further, and I'd like you to think of your favorite brand or one brand that you really, really love, and hold that brand in your mind's eye, and imagine that that brand. So let's take Disney for example. If Disney were a person, what kind of person would Disney be? So we have the qualities of family, fun, and fantasy, but if Disney was walking around as a person, what would you say, what kind of person would you say they are? Would you like to have a go at that one, Donna?
Yeah, that's kind of a weird one to pick because it just seems it would actually turn out to be quite an odd person. To be frank with you.
Well, let's take your favorite brand then. What would you say your favorite, one of your favorite brands is?
I've got one I'd like to pick on just because I feel like it's changed.
Okay.
The New Zealand Army. So when I was a child, there was no TV advertising. There was no newspaper advertising, yet they attracted and retained talent. But now, you know, we have a bigger budget for it. So I'm thinking something's changed in there. And, you know, and so that's what I'd like to pick. So I didn't have any, for example, me, when I joined, I didn't have any idea of what personality the brand had, other than my own experience of my family members having served.
Gotcha.
So that would be all I guess it's part of being a family. So, but it has changed, but I can't measure the current change because I'm not a current enlistee, as it were. Do you know what I mean?
I think so. And sorry, what was it? The New Zealand what?
Army.
Oh,
ARMY. Sorry, my New Zealand accent must be annoying for you.
No, it's not your accent. It's just the connection that got a little crumbly there. So I just want to make sure I hear you. So you're saying that the personality that, or what kind of person that the brand would have been when you first knew them is family oriented? Was that?
Well, not so much family oriented, but it's hard too because I was a child when I was reading that aspect of that brand's personality, but that brand's personality was part of being in a family. It might not be an expectation because I can't quite pinpoint that or anything else, but it was just part of being in a family. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, it's part of what you do.
You know, the word that comes to mind is it's a German word called gemütlich, and it's kind of like warm and what's the word I'm looking for? It's like not inviting, but you know you're welcome.
Yeah.
And what's your experience of them now?
Well, now there's a little more attention to sort of external communications, and there's more attention within as well for various restructuring. They've had restructuring and so forth, just as you would have in the US. I don't work with them currently, right. So everything I speak is you know, from a newspaper. Right. So now I would suggest that there's an element of trying to speak to people as I would read their actions taken by their communications, is that there's more of an element of trying to reach youths, whereas before it was part of your family.
Gotcha.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a change.
There is a change. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna take the next just for the sake of time, because I see we're at 3:25, some of the other questions that I would have asked, and we're going to do that in the next section, is what kind of fashion sense do they have, and where does the brand live? So I am going to move it over, and we can go to the next slide, and we'll take on somebody's own brand. And I'd like to work with one person so everyone else gets an idea of how to apply it to themselves. So if you were, Donna, do you want to keep playing with me, or would you like Maureen?
I can play with you.
Okay.
What are we playing?
I just want to make sure everyone's taken care of, because I'm like,
Can I just say one thing, Christine, before you move on? It's Maureen here.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you that I picked Lululemon as my brand,
Okay.
and it's a girl's hairdo, right?
Yeah.
And it's so obvious, the answers to all your questions. That's all I wanted to say, because, of course, I immediately thought she was sporty. She lived in Vancouver. She was fit. And so the logo of Lululemon is quite powerful.
Yeah.
Just that they picked a hairdo, right? And yet, in a woman's hairdo, and yet it's for men as well. Anyhow, just thought I'd share that with you.
Thank you very much. Very good. So you guys are really getting it. So let's I want to move through the next section a little bit quickly. So Donna, what if we looked at your brand, are you, because you're a freelancer,
Yes.
if you had to, now are you growing?
Which one? Disney or the Army?
No, I want to take your brand for you.
Oh, my brand.
Yeah.
Is it me, the person?
Yeah. And so
Okay.
Now, do people identify with you as you?
No, they don't. When I work remotely, I use an avatar. And I've purposefully done that just because I do plan to move on. So I didn't want to build a personality within the platform I do work in.
Gotcha.
And I'm also a volunteer responder, so it means that, you know, I don't have to commit to too much and can go and respond.
Right. Okay.
So I haven't quite done that. I've taken a sort of a different sort of slanted forward thinking about that.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So if we applied what kind of a person, what is its fashion sense, and where does it live, would that be appropriate for now, or do you want to have a look at that once you've moved and taken that step?
I think once I take that step.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to wrap this section, because and we can go into this again. If you need more detail on this at any time, please let me know. I'm happy to email you, or we can go into more depth in an upcoming webinar. So these are some of the questions that you can start using for yourself. And it's important to, we personify things. And so as humans, we name our boats, our cars. Like I name my car Carlos because he's red and he reminds me of a hot Spanish man. Anyway, and as we've seen already, branding has little to do with the features, the numbers, the functions, and the spreadsheets. It's more about the emotions and the feelings that people associate with your brand. So those are just a few playful questions that we can do. I have so many more that are really fun, and it's getting us out of, you know, the vision, the mission, and how we traditionally would look at it. So once you've got the foundation, the personality and the core values, you can start crafting the visual identity, or what the brand looks and sounds like. Not only that, now you have something that your team can use to line everything up, whether it's your marketing materials, your internal documents, your phone conversations. Everything is a match from the inside out. And then it ties back to the brand. And if it doesn't, don't do it. Let it go. There's so many times that we go, oh, I've got to be doing that. Well, when you feel that pressure, bring it back. What is your brand core? What is your personality? Does it line up with it? And consistency is not always exciting. I mean, like I said, we love the shiny thing, and it's easy to get distracted, but don't give up and don't give in. Keep going, because even though you might start feeling a bit stir crazy, like, oh, I've got to change the logo, or we've been running that ad for a while, remember that the majority of the people haven't seen it yet. They don't know you yet. So just stick with it. I promise you'll get traction. Because the more consistent you are, the easier it'll be for people to see you, to recognize you, and then follow you. So you keep, again, building that tribe. And the final thing I want to leave you with is focus. Just the stronger your brand becomes stronger, the more focused you are. Like when I was in Calgary, we had a very niche market within the oil industry. Everybody knew who we were within that niche, and everybody bought our publication and subscribed. So the bottom line here is really the important thing about engineering your brand inside out is to really have your audience experience you the same throughout. And I love Maureen's example of when you're out of the room, what are they saying? So now I'm going to turn it over to Christine Till, and we'll take it away. Thank you.
Yay, it's my turn. Okay. How many of you have seen, on those nature shows that they have on TV, you'll see these schools of fish all clinging together, and they swim one direction, and then all of a sudden they turn around, swim another direction, and then they turn around, swim another direction, and they're just continually swimming back and forth. And they only have two goals in mind. Number one, they want to find food. Number two, they don't want to be food. And I see so often businesses doing the very same thing. They go after this shiny thing. Oh, this is a great idea. I'm going to try this. Oh, that didn't work. So then they go after this next shiny thing. Oh, there's another great idea. I'm going to try that. And that doesn't work either. And they keep doing this continuously with their businesses and wonder why they're not going anywhere. And as Christine Unterthiner presented before me, she said, you have to be disciplined, and you have to stay focused and not let anything deter you from that focus. I thought that was very, very good. Now, I accidentally branded myself when I was fired at 50, so to speak. I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get anybody to hire me. I sent out a myriad of resumes and got one job offer after 4 job interviews for $10 an hour. And I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I can't work 3 jobs in order to make just enough money to make ends meet. So I did some brainstorming with my oldest son, who is a software engineer. And I said, what can I do? And he said, well, you've been doing podcasting since 2009. For the senior care organization. He said, you're really good with sales and marketing, so why don't you just start a marketing show? And I went, oh, brilliant. So I started my marketing show, but I said, what am I going to call myself? Oh, he said, well, you could just be the marketing mentor. And I thought, oh no, that's so masculine. So we brainstormed and fiddled around with words, and out popped mentress. And I went, oh, I love it. The marketing mentress, that's what I'll be. And so then I called my show the Marketing Mentress Show, and I started going to networking meetings, and I've introduced myself as the marketing mentress, and it really caught on. And I'd use LinkedIn to find people that would be guests on my show, and I'd invite them to be interviewed on my show, and we talk about their business, or we talk about, if they were authors, we talk about their latest book, and would inspire them to write that book. And I'd write a blog about that and publish the blog and attach the edited interview to that blog and send it out through all my social media and iTunes and 4 different podcast sites. And people would hear them. They would click on them, on the URLs, and they would listen to my interviews. So I would go and introduce myself at these networking meetings, and people would say, oh, I know you. I listened to your show on such and such, whether it was Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or wherever. And I accidentally was branding myself. I had no idea anything about branding. I just thought, oh, this sounds really great, and it makes good sense. And I don't mind everybody knowing me as the marketing mentress. So it was really cool to just happen upon being the marketing mentress. And I ran into a college student who was really artistic. And I said, I need a logo and this is what I want. And I sort of sketched out what I had in my mind, and she came up with this logo. So this became my Marketing Mentors logo. I've used it ever since. And hot pink is my color. And the way I chose my color is I did a little bit of research, and I discovered that hot pink sells 10 to 1. So if a woman or a man wears a hot pink shirt or a hot pink tie, hot pink blouse, when they go to close a sale, they will close those sales 10 to 1. And I thought, oh, that's great. I'm going to be hot pink. Then everybody will buy from me. So when I was fired at 50, it inspired me to write my book, because when I was going to those networking meetings, I saw sitting around those tables, 60 to 70% of the people were bald, or they had gray hair, or they used a bottle like me. And I went, oh my goodness, these people are just like me. They're out of work and have no prospects, so they've decided to start a business of their own, and they're just as lost as me. But I had already figured out how to use LinkedIn to get clients, and I was getting 60 to 80% of my clients through LinkedIn, and I thought, I could help these people. I could help them be able to do what I'm doing. So I started teaching them, or offering my services to help people be able to unleash the true power of LinkedIn, I call it. So being fired at 50, I'm going to tell you a secret. I was really 61 when I got fired. So you try and be 61 and get a job. People just don't want you. And I discovered there's 3 reasons why they don't want to hire you, or they want to let you go at 50. Number one, the statistics show that people over 50 tend to use the extended medical plans way more. Number 2, the people over 50 require a higher income or a higher wage, and the businesses think, well, I could just hire 2 20-year-olds and pay them less than a 50-year-old and still be able to afford to train them. So there's that thinking. And then the third thing, and a lot of people over 50 or in that age bracket don't realize this, but we're coming across as more of an holier than thou, I've got all the authority kind of an attitude, I know more than you, because the people in HR that are interviewing them are usually 35, 40, somewhere in there, younger than the 50-year-olds, of course. And so the 50-year-old is sitting there and they're thinking during the interview, whoa, I could do your job, and I could do it twice better than you can do your job. So, and that comes across in the interview, and they don't realize it. And I found this out when I was talking to a young gal in HR who worked managing a home medical wing, and she was only 33 at the time. And I asked her, I said, have you ever hired anybody over 50? And she said, no. And I said, why is that? And she said, because that attitude comes through. She said, I see them looking at me and seeing that I'm 33, and they're looking at me thinking, I've got way more experience than this young puppy, and I could do your job 10 times better than you're doing it. And she said it just comes across in the interview. And she has her questions set up in such a way that it draws those true feelings out, and they don't realize that they're letting those feelings come through when they're being interviewed. So actually being fired at 50 was a blessing for me, because it opened my eyes to a lot of things that are happening out there, and it's made me so independent that now I call myself unemployable. So our business, when we're building our business, it's all about the relationships that we can build. And the more solid relationships we can build with people, the better our business is going to do. So there are some key things that we need from each other. We need to build that know, like, and trust. And it takes a while to build that. Once you get that built, here's a big secret. Before they will buy from you, they need to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust you. And let me tell you, if that trust ever gets broken, you never get it back again. I've never ever in business seen that trust come back again. They may say they forgive you, but they will never come back and buy from you again. So there's 5 reasons why we need to be using LinkedIn. And the reason Christine and I decided to do this together is because these are so online marketing period is so tightly related and knitted into branding and how we use our brand, and if we are branded, and how we brand ourselves and where that all comes from. They're very closely knit, because nothing is successful in any of our marketing until we have our brand. And our brand needs to make us different. So I always talk to my clients about, how are you different? What is it in your business that makes you different from your competition? I run into this a lot with financial planners and realtors and those kinds of businesses where they have a tremendous amount of competition. And they're all struggling for the same clients. So why are they going to buy from one rather than from another one? Now I want to share with you 5 reasons why your best clients are going to come from LinkedIn. Number 1, the average age of people on LinkedIn is 43 years. So you've got a more seasoned possible client. They're more established in work or business. They pretty much know where they're going in their lives. And they're going to, when they see what you've got, they're going to know whether they want it or not. They can make the decision right away. The average income of people on LinkedIn is between 120 and 125,000. Did you know that? Now, Facebook, the average income of Facebook, if you just count the people 19 and over, is about 22,000. LinkedIn is also the most professional business platform on the net, bar none. I get invited to all different kinds of platforms all the time. I check them out and I go, no, nothing like LinkedIn. And I just leave them. I don't even pay attention to them anymore. Everyone on LinkedIn wants to do business. They're all there ready to do business. But we don't just go on there and go pitch, buy my stuff, follow me here, come to my website, check on this link. That's all pitching. What people look for in order to build that know, like, and trust is they need to be educated and to be informed about things in general that would maybe apply to their business or to how they relate to other people, and socioeconomics, that kind of thing. And the big secret to LinkedIn is in the groups. So often I have clients and I meet people on LinkedIn and I see that they are in no groups or maybe in 1 or 2 groups. The whole key to LinkedIn is in the groups, and we're going to cover that in our next sessions. So where are the people who can afford to buy your stuff? Duh. Of course, it's on LinkedIn, right? So I want to tell you 3 keys to success. You have to have a plan. So these fish that are swimming willy-nilly in the business world, fishing for this bright light and that bright light and that bright idea and another bright idea, what do you think the chances are of them being successful? They have no plan. And part of getting that plan in place is setting up our brand, because we have to do a lot of thinking about what is my brand. I used to sell promotional products, and one of the things that I used to review a lot with my clients was, what is your brand? Who are you? Why are people going to buy from you? What's different about you? What makes your business special? So you need to have a plan. You need to know where your money's coming from, who your ideal clients are in that process. And you can find them all on LinkedIn, and I can show you how. 85% of all new businesses are technically bankrupt. It's actually 86% of businesses in Canada go bankrupt within the first 2 years of business. So that's huge. And the reason for it is people will be working for a boss, say, and they're really a good tradesperson, and they can make this widget, and they're the best one there, and they watch their boss getting in the car and going to this meeting and going to that meeting and back sitting in the office talking on the phone, and they think, oh, my boss has got it so easy. I could go, I make my widgets way better than he could ever make my widgets. I'm going to start my own business. And they go start their own business. But they find out once they start their own business that, oh, now they've got to figure out where their clients are coming from. They can't just go start making stuff. Oh, how am I going to buy my stuff? Oh, I need a budget. Wow. And there's so much that they realize then that they have to deal with that they had no idea because they had no plan. I call it flying by the seat of their plans. One of the things that I really like to help people with when they first start working with me is to figure out their 5 5s. And if you start with your 5 5s, it tells you, it paints a huge picture. And so you go 5 years. Where do you want to be in 5 years? 5 months. Come on. 5 weeks. My clicker doesn't want to work. 5 days and 5 hours. But don't start with the hours. You start working from the years. So you go figure out where you want to be in 5 years, then 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, and then you can break it down to months, and then you can break it down to weeks. I always start with the financial side. Once you get the financial side figured out, then you figure out how many clients you have to have and how much your clients are going to pay for your stuff. Then you figure out it all falls in place. So I won't go into a whole bunch of details about that right now. So who are my clients? Where do your clients come from? Where are you going to find them? So if you're in a health and wellness business, you definitely do not want to join all the health and wellness groups on LinkedIn because everybody in those health and wellness groups are looking for exactly the same client you are. So how do you find them? You just go and start searching, and you search for using different search terms. So for instance, if your ideal client is in the nursing industry, you type in search nurse in the search bar and see which kinds of groups come up. And you want to join big groups, more than 10,000 people per group. And I'll explain more about that, why, in our next sessions. So you wonder, when you start your own business, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? So the money or the business? You tell me. So without a plan, we're going nowhere. Thank you very much.
So we've got time for questions if anyone has anything specific. Or anything that you'd like us to include for next time. I know this was a very foundational session, and we are going to get into more nitty-gritties in the next upcoming ones. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. If you think of anything later during the week or between now and our next session, again, they're the first Tuesday of every month. It will be 3 p.m. Pacific, and we will send out an email, or we'll post it on our website, and we'll also put it in our Facebook page and on our LinkedIn page what the next topics are that we'll be covering.
Awesome. And feel free, you've seen our contact information there. I hope the slide was up there long enough. I was having mouse challenges here. Feel free to email us if you've got any further questions, and we'll make sure that we include them in our future webinars. So this is the first of 4 in the series, and this whole series is building up to a big major event where we can have people come and spend the full day with us, and we can actually work with each person's individual marketing plan with your brand and your all of your marketing, and putting it all together.
Okay.
So we call it putting it all together.
Oh, that's
Aren't I
great.
brilliant?
Thanks, Christine. Thanks, Donna. Thanks, Maureen.
Yes, thank you.
So now, Christine, do we have to sign out and sign back in again, or are we just going to stay here?
I'm going to have to I'm just going to turn off the recording.